All right, we are here live for our very first season recap episode of the guys. You got to fill in for Avi. Who's
Let's go!
Ariel? Can we get a let's go out of you?
Let's go!
Good stuff. So this is a special edition season recap episode. Brian, we've of course had on the podcast before. Shlomo, we've had on the podcast before. Ariel will have his own special podcast for a championship preview coming on, but he generously agreed to come on for this Hungry Hippos season recap edition. So, for those who don't know, the Hippos had a heartbreaking loss in 10 innings last week to Ariel, Cohen, and Brian, the captain of the Hungry Hippos, is going to fill us in while driving on what happened.
Okay, so just some background information leading up to the game. So Ariel had mentioned that the Goldenbergs were not going to be there, and then supposedly Tim Torres was not going to play, although he did play, and he showed up in a big way. We also were missing our left fielder, so we got one of our subs, Hillel, and so he starts off the game. He's our leadoff hitter. Like, second pitch of the game, rips one down the left field line, gets by the left fielder, and the Hippos are out to a 1-0 lead on a leadoff homer. So we were feeling so energetic. We were feeling so positive, so optimistic. But we knew it was going to be a battle. So we get off to the quick 1-0 lead. I have the very official score right here. So the Robins come up in the bottom of the first. They get a couple runners on, and then they have a line drive to right field. Gets by the right fielder, and it's a 2-run triple. So the Robins are out to a 2-1 lead after one. So it's definitely a little deflating, but the Hippos, it's very hard to get us down. So over the course of the next few innings, we put on a few runs. We go up 4-2. So we're feeling good. The Robins claw back, tie the game up. And then towards the end of the game, I think it was like the 7th inning. So that's when the real craziness happened. So we get a couple of walks. Gabi Kessler, league-leading walk leader, gets on base, a walk and an infield single. We get the bases loaded, no outs. For David, your boy Zalman Moses gets up to bat. He smokes a line drive. Really hard hit, right to the third baseman. Steps on the bag. The home plate umpire says that the fielder beat the runner back to the bag and calls a double play. So we had two main complaints about it. One, I think most people who saw the play, we all felt that the runner definitely beat the fielder back. But, and this is also confirmed by the fielder never actually touched third base. He stepped on Gabi Kessler's foot. They stepped on the base at the same place. Gabi got his foot underneath. So 2 reasons why that double play call shouldn't have been made. So that was really rough. Next batter hit a deep fly ball to right field that was caught. So you feel like that could have been a sac fly. Take a 7th inning lead would have been big. That's not how it turned out.
Who is the ump that missed the call? We call people out on this podcast.
I don't remember his name. Shlomo, I don't know if you know his name. Ariel, do you know who was the home plate umpire?
I know his name, and I have to say that the $20 bill I handed him came in handy.
And you have to say that what?
The $20 bill that I handed him came in handy. No. It's very tough to be an umpire. I am an umpire myself. It was John. I do believe he got the call wrong in our favor that time. So I wasn't particularly sad, but I did think the call was wrong.
Yeah, it's definitely really hard being up in this league. None of us were, nothing personal when we were complaining about the call. In the runner afterwards, just said, it's all love. He just wanted to explain that, his foot was underneath the fielder's foot. So that was a tough break. Next inning, we get bases loaded again. This time with 2 outs, we load the bases, but we can't come through. And then I believe in the bottom of the 8th when the Robins tied it up at 4. So then we go to the bottom of the 9th. We can't.
1 second though. What was the score during that double play?
It was 4-4, I believe it was still. Oh no, It was 4-4. I believe it was already 4-4. I think the Robins tied it up before that.
And that was to end the inning, or that made it 2 outs?
That made it 2 outs. Then we had first and second with 2 outs.
So you would have had bases loaded, one out,
and the next
Ariel, Cohen on the ropes, and you need a sac fly. All you need is a sac fly to bring in a run.
Yeah, the next batter actually hit a pretty deep fly ball right field that easily would have been a sac fly.
Well, but of course, knowing that it was 2 outs, I pitched a certain way to induce.
Right.
Yeah, obviously things could have played out differently.
Yeah.
But
the one thing I would say before we move on is, as crappy as that is, and it's generous of Ariel to say that it was a missed call, and John is a great ump in my opinion. Ariel is a very tough pitcher, especially situational pitcher. So bases loaded, 1 out in a tight spot in a semifinal game. It sucks. Don't get me wrong. There's no guarantee, though. That's all.
No guarantee. Although
Ariel
he made a couple comments. You can ask him. The rain was on and off, and during those few innings when we got the bases loaded, there was some rain. Even when the rain stopped, the ball was still kind of wet, and Ariel kept saying, like, I just can't pitch when it rains. I can't grip the ball well. And so I think our most walks were during those 2 innings that we loaded the bases. So there's no guarantee, but Ariel definitely did not have his best stuff during those rallies, potential rallies.
The rain is Ariel's kryptonite, as we learned in their game against the Rumble Ponies.
Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of pitchers in the league, pitch fast, so they have a fastball there. Some of them don't rely, they're lobbing it or whatever, they're doing their thing. I rely on very, very heavy spin, which means very, very heavy grip. I've got a nice big hand, and I spin the ball. So when you can't get your normal, and my usual pitch, like just to get strikes, has heavy spin. So in order for me to do that, if the ball is wet, I can't feel my regular rhythm. I can't feel my regular pitch. So not that it's an excuse. It's a fair playing field for everybody. It just hurts me more because I over-rely on grip.
Yeah, that spin you have on that pitch caught a couple of our guys looking at. After the home run in the first inning, we got a couple of guys on base, and then to end the inning, Ariel struck out one of our players looking, and he's like, I thought it was outside. I'm like, I was standing on second base. I was like, it was right down the middle. So you definitely got him with the spin on that one. So anyways, we go now to the bottom of the 9th inning, still 4-4. The Robins get a couple guys on. I believe it's a base hit to center field. Shlomo fields it, hits the cutoff man. Malik throws home. The runner 100% beat the ball and got under the tag. But according to John, this is the explanation why he called the runner out. So the home plate at Chestnut, so there's like a bit of a dirt patch, and it's kind of like lower down than the rest of the ground. So John said that he never got his foot down on the plate. Personally, I mean, I think that's a bit of a bogus call. I would have called it safe. I mean, that's just like a ridiculous thing. The home plate is like 2 inches lower than the third baseline.
It's so tough to bat at that field also because you're...
Well, what happened was I had a check that was made to him, and apparently it bounced, so he called the other way for that play.
Yeah, so he said he in his eyes what he saw, and it could have been true. It could have happened that he actually never touched the home plate. He claimed he did beat the ball, he beat the tag, but never touched the plate, even though he's like literally laying on top of the plate. So that was how we got our second out in the 9th. And then we ended up, actually, there was a line drive going to left field, and our, 10-foot tall shortstop made a jumping catch to end the 9th.
Who's your shortstop?
That's Malik Mordechai Wade.
And by the way, you left out the Hungry Hippos played absolute stellar defense the entire game. I mean, third base was a lock, and second base made a play with 2 outs, going back on a ball to end it. Malik also made another play to end another inning. There were multiple times where, good hits, and they were just made phenomenal plays that saved runs.
I think there was 4 plays that you guys would have had an RBI. There was a play where a right fielder redeemed himself. He made a lunging grab to end the inning. We had a double play where we were getting a little bit cheeky. We put our short center kind of right behind second base, so we were able to make the turn quicker. We didn't have to wait for the second baseman to get to second base, so the play happened pretty quick. That was an inning double play. The short center fielder made a shoestring catch to end an inning, and then Malik made that play in the 9th end inning.
And look, even Shlomo's throw, which as controversial as
right on the money though, right on the
obviously
money.
it was a seed of a throw if it
Yeah.
He
was
hit the
right throw.
cutoff man. Shlomo hit the
There,
cutoff man, and then
there
Malik
was
threw it home.
there
Oh,
was no cutoff.
Malik threw it home.
There was no
He hit the
cutoff.
cutoff man.
No cutoff man on the play. I spiked it into the ground, but I got it to the plate.
Oh, I must have missaw it. I thought you hit the cutoff man, and then that was a different play where I think Malik threw home, and then this runner ended up scoring on a different play where you. Okay, so anyway, we go. Okay, so that's how the ninth inning goes. Probably a missed call. I mean, whatever. He beat the tag. He beat the throw. Just didn't get his foot on the plate. Top of the 10th, we put a run on the board. We got a couple runners on, and then Eitan Benzner hit this like kind of jam shot that kind of froze the second baseman. I think if he got a better read off it, he would have taken the 4 or 5 steps in and just caught it in the air. It ends up falling, and the runner on third base got a pretty good run, a pretty good look at the play. Saw the second baseman was going to catch it, so there was no play at home. He scores, so we go to the bottom of the 10th, up 5-4. First 2 runners get on for the Robins, I believe. First 2 runners got walked to start the 10th.
I think there was one out, then two base hits in a row, then an out, and then it was
base
2
hits
outs
or
and 2
walks.
runners
I think there were walks.
No, 2 base hits actually.
In the 10th, they were hit.
Okay, it's so hard to remember everything.
In the ninth, there were walks. I walked to lead off the inning. The next guy after me led off. So in the 9th, it was walks. In the 10th, it was all hits.
So we have.
In the 10th, it was what?
Hits.
In the 10th, it was
base hits.
It was a 2 hits, 2 hits, 2 outs.
So
this all happened with 2 outs.
No,
some of it. It was an out, then a hit, then an out, then a hit, something like that.
Something like that. And so we have 2 outs or 1 out away from pulling the big upset. We just beat the 3 seed last week, about to put away the 1 seed. We get into, I believe it's like a 2-1 count. Tim Torres was 0 for 4, 0 for 5 up to this point.
Yeah.
Playing a bit hobbled, but he had not gotten a hit. He had like 1 hard hit ball that, our left fielder was kind of just there to catch it. Other than that, a pretty weak contact the whole game. Gets into, I believe it was a 2-1 count or a 1-1 count. He rips a line drive into right center. We had the short center fielder playing there. He's running in, and then the ball gets by him, and then both runners score. Game over. Heartbreaking. I could have just collapsed on the field. It was so rough. Just watching it all happen. You couldn't do anything about it. Standing at first base.
I read a long time ago the term a walk-off home run or a walk-off single. I remember seeing that the reason for the term is the pain and the suffering of having to walk. It's about the team that's in the field having to walk off, and watch the other team celebrate what was their victory is where the name came from. And it sounds like you guys really experienced it in couldn't be more brutal fashion.
Yeah, I mean, I spent the whole day.
It was nice enough, David, for you to invite everybody on the podcast for them to rehash it. So there you go.
I spent the whole day yesterday just playing over every play that we could have maybe done 1% better. Maybe it would have ended up differently. I know I made a bad play in the 10th inning. They had this kind of blue pit. Now that you're saying there were hits, I'm remembering. And there could have maybe been a play at first, but I just kind of assumed that, I thought I was going to catch it actually in the air. So I kind of just turned around and watched. If I got back to first base, there might have been a play at first. It kind of bounced in front of the fielder. So that could have maybe been different. I think all of us felt like if we were just better on one play, just one play for everyone, they could have done a little better on. But yeah, we played a hell of a game. We played our hearts out, made so many tough plays to keep the Robins at only 4 runs. So many run-saving plays we made, but it's just how it goes sometimes.
I do have to say a couple of things about the game. First of all, I want to say that the Hungry Hippos were formidable opponents. That they were in the game, they gave it their all, and it was a pleasure playing them. And I have to say that the sportsmanship level, and I'm very big on sportsmanship. The sportsmanship level was through the roof. Like there was that double play that was a bad call. they were upset, but no bad words or anything. Every time I made a good play on a pitcher, the other team, Brian, you or the pitcher, hey, Ariel, great pitch or whatever, just very nice, good feeling all around. Everyone was in the same boat. We were all playing great. We were all having a good time. Just a great camaraderie. It's one of the things I love about the Legacy League, that no one's barking at each other. We're all picking each other up on both teams. Just great sportsmanship, and the defense was stellar for you guys. It really kept it in. I mean, everything you guys did was fantastic, and this game was even. It could have gone either way. It was 50-50 matchup literally the whole way. And after the second inning, you sensed that it was going to go down to the wire, and it certainly did. So kudos to you guys for a fantastic season and for a great game. I was absolutely mentally drained after the game. Like I couldn't believe what happened. I was almost like, all right, get ready to leave. That's it. And I was just mentally drained. It was just phenomenal.
So you have just to paint the picture. So when Tim comes up, it's first and second, 2 out.
Yep.
And Tim is 0 for 4 on the day.
0 for 4, and he only played a few innings in the field. Like he came out every other inning. He was not 100% in the field. He was in pain for most of the game and couldn't get anything. But he got up to the plate, and Tim. Tim plays with you this year at night. Tim has always been clutch for game-winning hits. Like he gets up there, and instead of just I'm going to swing, he has a determination. He knows where he wants to put it. He waits for the pitch. He's clutch. Tim is a very clutch player.
So. Well, that's what a guy like Tim, who's played so much softball and baseball, and has a lot of experience, I think, also doesn't feel any nerves in a situation like that.
Nah, he got up there. He's like, we're winning this game. He said to me, Ariel, as soon as I got up to the plate, I knew we were winning. That's it.
A few years ago when I was first getting to know Tim, I think we were playing the Robins. I was on the Black Sox. I was either coaching third base or on third base. And it was a very tight spot in the game. Strong hitter was at the plate, and he was kind of crouching by third, ready to leap like he was so locked in, and he was still able to schmooze with me while standing there, still locked in. And I said, are you hoping the ball goes somewhere else in this spot? And he said, absolutely not. I want that ball. I want it hit as hard as they can right at me.
And he's loosey-goosey during the game. We have so much fun on the bench, just, everyone laughing on the bench all game, saying silly stuff. And when I'm pitching, he keeps me focused, because a lot of times he'll see I'm throwing too many fastballs. I'm not changing enough. Sometimes he's like, the guy's not catching you. Just keep throwing fastballs. Like he'll chirp from first base and give me pointers on and come over. Hey, Ariel, do this, do that. Like, so he keeps me in the game mentally also. Tim is a great
Shlomo, why don't you give us your summary, your summary of this heartbreaking loss? We're doing group therapy today.
Yeah. So I was just about to jump in to talk about Tim, because I feel like that was a perfect spot to talk about him. Every time I was on base, whether I was running for myself or courtesy runner in the 10th inning, we were talking throughout the game. The first inning I got on, and I like to take a pretty big lead at first, and like let's see what the catcher has. And I was noticing that that Shimmy, their catcher, was like throwing the ball pretty hard back to Ariel. So I turned to Tim and I was like, "Hey, does he have a sneaky good arm? Like, should I be nervous?" And Tim's like, "Even if you like think you could beat me to the bag, like you have to get through me to get to the base." Like, so that set up the entire game talking to Tim.
And then, you gotta get through me.
He's like, I'm just gonna I'm big. I'm gonna get in the way. That's the point. So he just made me take a little bit of a shorter lead. But then I was courtesy running in the 10th, and this is when we were up by 1, and I'm on base, and he just turns to me. He was like, "All right, you guys are up by 1, so that means that when I come up, I can get a game-winning hit. Perfect."
Wow.
And I was like, "Hopefully we don't get to you, but okay."
Whoa.
But earlier in the game, so his first at bat, he hits a pop up to short center field a mile high, so high that at first I thought it was going to come a little bit deeper than it did, and then I still had a chance to get under it, make the catch, and then I think in the 4th inning, third or fourth inning, he hits a rocket to left field that our left fielder was playing in Chestnut on that, like, the dirt field in left field, and he made the catch there. So I think his plan was not to try to get it past me or the left fielder, just try to get a hit somewhere else in the field, but like hit the ball hard somewhere else in the field. And like that seemed like his approach the rest of the game. Up until he had 2 strikes, it was just take it up the middle or go to right field with it. So with that attitude, that's where he hit a rocket, like right up the middle. That our fourth outfielder almost made a great play on it. Just it bounced right in front of him and then just get past him.
So your outfielder tried to catch the ball.
Yeah,
mistake.
In hindsight,
he catches it.
It was a really tough play. It was like
bang.
It was like this low line drive that just wouldn't come down for like you thought it would come down sooner than it did, but he hit so hard it just didn't come down.
The run definitely scores.
So hard play to judge.
If he stays back on it, bounces, catches it, does the run come home?
Probably the first run does.
The first run does, but the second one.
2 outs, they're running on the swing, So
the first run, it would have tied the game.
Okay, so of course, by him. Shlomo, were you playing center field?
I was playing center field. I backed him up. It was hit so hard that it got past. So
the problem is that when you have a line drive, like you're trying to determine should I go for it, should I not? If it's a line drive and you don't get it, it can go past you and go. That's what happened the first batter of the game. It was a hard line drive, and the left fielder missed it, goes back, it's a home run. On a pop-up, if it's high pop, you can try for it more because if it's bouncing, it's not going anywhere. So it's you got to make a determination, and the fielder said, let's try to catch it and win it, and it turned out to be the wrong thing. But, of course, I was up next, so we would have won the game anyways had it just been a single.
We should have intentionally walked Tim to get to you.
Yeah. Challenge accepted.
It was probably like a 60-40 ball. 40% that he wasn't going to catch it. But it's just that if I was in his position, I probably would have gone for it as well. I would have tried. I probably would have laid out for it to try to make that catch, but I would have went for it and just let
me be annoying for a second and get a little more inside baseball. Monday morning quarterback, Monday morning baseball. In that situation, first and second, 2 out. I guess it's tricky because Tim was hurt and 0 for 4, but also known to be somebody who can hit gaps. Would you play for a cross and play for knowing Ariel's coming up? Ariel's a good situational hitter, but I
had been on base 3 out of 4 times in the game previously, and Tim was 0 for 4. So
and who's up after you?
Played for a cross for Tim. I think the whole game.
Yeah, Tim was the only. So there was a point where Adam Goldschmidt, we played 4 across the first 2 at bats, and he just hit line drives up the middle. So from that point forward, I just turned to our fourth outfielder. I said, "Hey, he's gonna hit the ball hard up the middle. Just play up the middle. If he tries to go over our heads, he's probably gonna get some air under it, and that gives us a chance to catch it. So let's play 5 infielders." And so that was our strategy for the rest of the game. Except for when Tim was up, because Tim was the one guy who we knew that even with 4 outfielders, he could probably still burn us. So we played the 5 for most of the game, and then 4 only for Tim, and he still managed to burn us there. But that 5 infielders came up huge. I believe in the 7th or 8th inning, when Yehuda Nenner got on. Not to toot my own horn, I almost made a ridiculous diving catch. I did not think I had any chance to get close to the ball, and I just dove out of hope. And the fact that I got my glove on it, I was shocked. But
wait, this was on Adam or on Nenner?
This is on Nenner.
You got to keep Nenner off the base paths because
he is so
the
fast.
guy scores from first on a routine ground ball. He you know what I say about him? He doesn't run around the bases. He glides around the base. You don't see his feet.
I think that I was going to say at the end that I think he's going to be the key to them winning the championship. Underratedly, he is great in center field. He gets on base almost every time and just flies around the bases. It is insane. Um, but he gets on first, and so this is where, and like with that speed in mind, us having 5 infielders, there was Erickson hits a shot to Malik, and we had our 5th infielder in. So he was already at second base, so Malik was able to throw to him, and we are able to turn a double play on Erickson, who also is pretty quick down the line to first. So got that double play, and then another quick out, then like on another great play. I don't remember who it went to, but I remember it was like just a really nice play. We came back, we had a huddle right after that. We're like, okay, this is our moment. Like anybody, like they're gonna be demoralized. We're coming in with the advantage. Let's get some hits here. So it's just like we had a strategy for each of those guys, and Tim just, even with the strategy that we had and like we thought was perfect, he came up clutch.
Wow, what a heartbreaker. So looking back on the season, this was a smashing success, I would say, for the Hungry Hippos.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that after last year, when we won our first game of the season, I believe last year Rada had the Black Sox, but he like put together another team. Last year we beat that team in the first game. We didn't win another game. So I mean, we had a lot of different guys on the team this year, but to go from a 1-win team to semifinals, 1 out away from championship, definitely. I mean, we definitely exceeded probably most people's expectations.
Yeah, Brian, you haven't called me out yet on my prediction for the Robins.
I haven't forgotten. I'm just waiting. Yeah, I mean, how do you feel? You're usually the one who asks the questions, but I just want to know what you think of yourself now for your 13-1 6-inning mercy prediction.
I'm an embarrassment to the HSL and to the community at large.
You're definitely not an embarrassment. It was just not your finest moment.
It was not my finest moment. I don't know why I was so hard on the Hippos. I think there was something about that morning where, or maybe it was the weekend leading up to that Sunday morning, where I think, Brian, you were kind of, some of the guys were teasing Ariel about the lopsided scores, and I don't remember what was going on. There was a certain defeatism, perhaps. I need to look back at the chat. There was a certain defeatism. Is it possible, Brian, you had a certain defeatism going into that first game? Or am I misreading that?
No, I mean, we knew that the Rumble Pony versus the Robins or versus Rumble Ponies?
Well, so what happened, my version of events in that first game against the Robins, maybe I'm misremembering, there was like, this is going to be a ridiculous game kind of feeling, and then it ended so quickly.
No, I believe I was saying that we're going to mercy the Robins just to, keep it positive. Not that I really felt we were ever going to.
Oh, you said you were going to mercy the Robins, so I'm misremembering.
Okay. I was just saying, we're going to beat them, in an hour. Don't worry about it. Because there was a lot of guys in the chat, I'm not going to name anybody, who were saying, Robins, go to the Titan League, whatever. So I was like, relax. So I was keeping it positive.
You were doing the opposite. So I think what, yeah, I don't know why I was so hard on the Hippos.
I mean, the score of the first game.
It's a good question.
If you didn't know the details of the first game, you'd think that we have no chance against them after seeing the first score from the first game, 13-1 in 6 innings.
Right.
So, and then Shlomo explained how the score doesn't really tell the whole story, and I think we proved that this week.
Right.
But then Avi still called us out and said that we're going to lose.
I know, Avi still.
Yeah, Avi's a stubborn one. He's pretty stubborn.
So and he wouldn't let me change my prediction last week. I don't know why I was so hard on the Hippos, especially because you guys beat the Black Sox. And the funny thing is, I was actually Ariel, I was actually rooting for the Hippos because it was really the best story of the season.
Root for the underdog. I can't blame you.
Yeah. No, they're certainly the underdog. I guess I'm happy you guys proved me wrong.
I'll say that if you're just looking at the stats, maybe this is where you got it from. We definitely weren't a high-powered offense most of the year, we were definitely more of a defense first team, which I think Ariel saw firsthand on Sunday. And so you go into the game, Ariel's only let up 18 runs all year against a team that doesn't score much. Maybe you feel that it's not going to really be a close game at all, but yeah, I think we're better offensively than what we did a lot of the time, but maybe that's what you're.
Yeah, I think so. And Shlomo really made the case quite compellingly last week as to why my prediction was wrong, and a lot of the things he said ended up being true.
Yeah.
Including he was kind of defending the lopsided run differential you had, and
yeah, I actually was thinking about that during the game, about the points that Shlomo made, how they were literally coming true, like in the middle of the game. I thought about that.
Yeah, he did a good job. On a slightly separate note, but also related, both of your teams have a non-Jewish player on your team, and something that I've been wondering about is, I've said to Avi, why don't we start recruiting talent from outside the Orthodox Jewish community? We have a great group of guys here. We have a great league. We have a fun league, and I'm kind of curious how you both you, Ariel, and you, Brian, ended up with someone who's not Jewish on your team.
I mean, for the record, I did not do any circumcision inspection, so I can't verify.
Ariel, is that another one of your talents? You're a mole on the side?
No, I actually gave that up. Sorry.
So I don't know. It's something I know it's like kind of a non sequitur.
You should ask Shlomo. Ask Shlomo that question.
Okay, Shlomo.
Yeah. So I know Malik for many years, probably like 8 years. I used to be in a lot of bowling leagues, and so I was in a bowling league with him. And so like we knew each other from around the bowling alley, and then my brother found out, like, was when he was hanging out, he like was hanging out with Malik and a couple of other guys, and he found out about this other league that they were in. So my brother joined that league, got me involved in that league, and
the softball league.
Yeah, and a softball.
What was
league.
That one called?
Cambria Heights men's softball.
Okay.
So we played in that for a couple of years, and I played on his team up until last year. So I would sometimes go from the HSL to that game because they had game times from ranging from 10 o'clock in the morning to 2 p.m. like start times, and they were all double headers. So I was playing on the team with him last year, and that team was just like, there was just way too much going on between getting commitments, different things, and he was like, all right, I don't want to deal with this anymore. Next year you'll get me into one of your teams. So when we were creating the Hippos, I reached out to him. I was like, hey, Malik, do you want to get into this league? And he was like, yeah. So got him in, and we were going to try to get one of his like really good friends, Derek, to join the team also. Derek's played in the night league a couple of times. And there was a point where I think in 2019, there was after the summer they had like a fall league that went through December in North Premier Park, and so it was me, my brother, and then one of my friends, and then like the rest of the guys from the Cambria Heights League, and we like ran through that league. So it was just like Malik enjoys like playing softball against all of us. Like he thinks that we're good guys, so that's good. We're making Kiddush Hashem there. And so he was texting me even yesterday, just like talking about the game and how disappointed he was that we lost, like thinking that we should have won the game. So he really enjoyed this season, and like I think that we should try to there's definitely something with like playing with other guys within the Orthodox Jewish world, but also to like if you want to have competition, like maybe not have full non-Jewish teams, but like to get non-Jewish guys into the league and just sprinkle them around the league and just making it a more competitive league than it already is. Like, I don't think that would hurt. Like, I think we could keep the identity of the league while also having a higher competition level.
By the way, when we started the league, there was one team. The whole team was not Jewish. A bunch of Asian guys who lived in Queens, and the league got started because we had a pickup game at Utopia Park in Hillcrest way back, and it was a bunch of Jewish guys, and there was a bunch of Asian guys around the park, and they're like, "Hey, can we play?" Sure, no problem. Then they brought a bunch of other guys. We brought a bunch of other guys, and every week we was like us against them, and we said next year let's do a league, and they formed their own team, and they were called the Executioners. They played in the league there. There was one year that we had a fully Muslim team, by the way. bunch of guys. Now, they didn't win a game. They were actually pretty bad,
Did you
but
say a full Muslim team?
Muslim team,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're not letting Muslims in. I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, like, so we've never been, the Identity League has never been a Jewish league, although, the vast majority of the league is it. But yeah, we've, anybody could join. I mean, Tim wishes me a happy Tu B'Shvat on Tu B'Shvat. I didn't even realize he's not Jewish.
So you raised an interesting point, Shlomo, about keeping the identity of the league as Jewish and Orthodox Jewish for the most part, but think we could sprinkle in some players. And Ariel, you're saying we could go for it and have non-Jewish teams potentially.
We've had it from the start. This league, the very first 10 seasons or whatever, it was always the Executioners. There was a team, Bedford Park. There was also not Jewish.
What do you think happened?
Like any other team, just they ran out of commitments and they couldn't get a team, and sometimes the remnants played on our teams, and just like any fully Jewish team, sometimes they fizzle out. Just is regular standard thing. We had a team called Allied World, bunch of guys not Jewish from another company. They played for a year, so this has always been an open league to everybody for the community, and mostly Jewish identity, but totally open to anybody. And hey, listen, I don't care where you're from. If you play baseball, we're gonna have a great time.
Yeah. So, Shlomo, were you gonna say something? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just gonna add one more point. Is that like after playing in that Cambria Heights League, where one of the teams had Jose Lima from formerly of the Mets, rest in peace, had two of his brothers on the team, and even in those leagues, where some of the guys are just ridiculous, really really good players. I think even if you brought a fully bring in the best guys, or even just really good solid guys from a Jewish team, up from a Jewish league into that league, they would be able to compete with all of them. We're not lacking talent in our league, but it never hurts to bring in more talent from other leagues as well.
I see. So we've got a couple of minutes left. What's next for the Hungry Hippos, Brian and Shlomo?
So, a little while ago, I have a second kid on the way, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this next year again. My wife is going to be in her third year of residency, or things change a lot when you're in psych. So there, I feel like a month ago, I was like, this might just be a one and done. But leading up to this game versus the Robins, I was like, there's no way the Hippos aren't coming back next year. And then after we lost, I told everyone on the bench right after we lost, I'm like, we're running it back next year. The Hippos. So I'll send a check to Avi tomorrow. Okay, not tomorrow because it's Yontif, but it's happening.
So would you make any adjustments to the team? Would you?
Everyone who's on the team is welcome to come back, and then if people can't commit, then we will find new guys. But it's a good group of guys.
Well, we already texted Malik about joining. I got a commitment from Malik to join the Black Sox, so good luck with that.
Yeah, it's a good group of guys. We have a lot of fun. We showed that we could win. I feel like if we would have beaten the Robins, we were going to beat the Crew in the finals. We had such momentum and such confidence, and I feel like everyone was just sleeping on us every single game, and that we were taking advantage of that.
We didn't. Yeah. We certainly didn't come with that approach. We were there thinking that this was going to be a very tough game. We didn't take you for granted one bit. I can promise.
I know you didn't. I can't speak for anyone else on your team. I know you were saying the whole week that you felt like it was going to be a very close game.
Yeah, apparently I'm the only guy who actually knows how to make a prediction. We had David saying 13-1. We had Shlomo saying you're going to beat us. I don't know. I was the only guy who said that it's going to be like a 1 or 2 run game, and the Robins are going to score roughly 5 runs. So,
my prediction was 6-4 Hippos. So I was pretty close on the score.
All right,
just not
Ariel. But you evaluate talent semi professionally. So
yeah, if you actually look up on Google, and I dare you to do this, most accurate baseball projections, believe it or not, my name comes up as number 1. So. Yes, professionally.
I get shout-outs on YouTube from CBS and Fox Sports, Ariel Cohen liked my draft. I was like, How do you guys know Ariel Cohen?
Oh yeah. My friends now are all the fantasy guys, like CBS podcast, ESPN, everybody, Yahoo. I know all those guys. I go on their shows constantly. I'm on Sirius
That's where
XM
you got to
radio
get
once a
the
week.
non-Jewish team. Just get all these guys, like a CBS sports team.
Actually, one of the guys from CBS played. It wasn't against you. I think it was against the Pandas. But I actually had the CBS podcast guy on our team this year, Frank Stample. He came
Yeah.
down from for a game. Believe it or I don't even. I don't think you guys realize that.
So before we wind down, I mean, we are winding down. We got to end in a minute or two. In Commissioner Edelman's absence, we got to get predictions for Sunday's matchup between. The game is not
Monday.
for.
It's on Monday, right?
But it's not this Monday. It's we have a bit of a layoff, right? We have Ariel. When's the game? 6:20.
Game is on Robin's birthday. That's all you need to know.
Just changed everything.
Yeah.
Ariel, we'll hold off on your prediction because we're going to have you on again for a special championship preview. But Shlomo and Brian, what are your predictions for the Robin's Crew championship in 13 days?
Okay, so will the Goldenbergs be there? I got to know that.
Yes, Goldenbergs plan on being there.
Okay, that's a big one.
Tim may not be though. Tim may not be.
Ooh, well, I think he's going to end up showing up. You said he's not going to play this week, and then he had the game-winning hit. So,
no, I said he was injured, and so I actually didn't know if. And you saw Brian. I brought my son down. He was going to play if Tim didn't. So
I have
I was prepared.
who your roster was according to you on Wednesday. So things change, obviously. I'm just kidding around though. So yeah, I mean the Crew are really good. The tough one. I think I'm going to give the edge to the Robins. I think, the fact that it's on Robin's birthday, that's a big one. A lot of motivation to deliver a good birthday present in the name of Robin. Going to be a very tight game, the whole entire game. I don't think anyone's going to even get up to like a 3-run lead at any point. I think it's going to come down to the wire. I think the Robins are going to win the game something like 6-5.
Same score.
Yeah. I wasn't even thinking that. That wasn't what I was thinking. But yeah, 6-5.
So, I was looking up the Crew's team because I know them way less than I know the Robins. They're a newer team in the league. And as I was looking through their team stats, it occurred to me that something Mendy was saying was that they don't have any superstars. They just have a lot of guys. The entire team really is a team, and they all pitch in. Their team batting average is 450. It is insane. It's just every guy, you have guys who are hitting over 500, and you have guys who are hitting 350. Their lowest
there are no
batting
easy outs. There are no easy outs in that lineup.
No, they are just such a solid team in terms of I remember when we played them just top to bottom they were super solid, and then I wasn't sure if that was just against us, and just look at their batting averages, they're all super tough. So Ariel, you're gonna have a tough time against them. They're a good team. I think it's their shortstop or their center fielder, Danny.
Shua Danny,
Yeah.
Outstanding. He's a superstar.
He hit a bomb against us. I think he hit
us too.
Two of them, I think. Where he just he's gonna be a tough out. Mendy's a tough out. So I think it's going to be a high-scoring game because the Robins also have just top to bottom. There are no easy outs there either. I think the biggest, as I mentioned earlier, I think the biggest difference maker in the game is going to be Nenner. Just getting on base and his speed and his defense is just really good. I think the Robins will win, but I think it's going to be a 9-8 win.
Wow.
If I can just add who I think my X factor is going to be. So I've played the Robins a bunch of times, and your shortstop Erickson Flores, right? So when he's on, he can be a key piece for the Robins. He bats in the 3 or 4 hole usually. Sometimes he falls into these games where he just hits these deep fly balls, but there's so much hang time. The left fielder, he'll pull it a lot to the left fielder, and he can go 0 for 4 with 4 deep flyouts. So, and during our game, he had a really big hit where he kept the ball down. He hit a nice line drive into the left center field gap that led to one of the Robins' runs. So for me, if he's definitely the X factor for the Robins offense. He can have those games where he struggles, but when he's on, he can really be a part of every single rally for the Robins.
I gotta say, I'm very impressed how you guys know like every single guy on my team, exactly what they do, exactly what they hit. Like you your game recap was like impeccable. I'm very
I've been in
impressed,
the league
guys.
for like 8 or 9 years. Like I've seen all your guys.
And Brian, I heard you're putting on a red shirt for the summer. What do I hear about this?
Yeah, I mean I'm actually wearing one now. That's just because it was the only thing that wasn't packed away for Shavuos. But yeah, I'm going to be taking a break from being a captain, and I'll be joining the Robins as their starting second baseman for the summer.
Wow, if you can't beat them, join them, huh?
It
I
wasn't like
told I was
that.
speaking to my dad after the game. I'm like, am I Kevin Durant? Am I the next?
No,
I'm not that good. I'm like, I'm obviously not Kevin Durant, but like, am I like the biggest loser in the league? Like,
All right, guys, I gotta get going. These podcasts have been really fun. Ariel, what you said about them knowing the guys on your team so well, something I've been so impressed by is the level of thought that so many of the guests have about the games. You would think, oh, it's some stupid Sunday softball league, but people really take it seriously, really enjoy it, really think about it very deeply, and it's a real pleasure to connect around that.
you have a league on Sunday and some people play a night league. You're thinking about softball all week long. You're looking forward to it, and you can tell by the level that Shlomo and Brian are talking that they're really into it and they think about it. And it's a big part of their week, and it's true for everybody. And people who are watching this podcast now are also thinking about it. So it's just a great. I'm going to say way of life or whatever you want to call it, but it's a great atmosphere and a great thing to be a part of. So kudos to you guys for doing a great job with leading it, and for you guys, for everybody else who's really made this season exciting. When people ask me, "Do you like playing in pickup games, Ariel?" I say, "I love playing in pickup games, but leagues are so much better because you remember the games. Like years from now, you'll remember, good or bad, if you won the semifinal game. You'll remember that guy had the hit. We stopped that play over here. Like memory is very important to me, and you just remember everything. I remember my very first playoff game in the Hillcrest Softball League. I remember we clinched the playoffs from a home run to dead center by Shlomo Gunsberg. Like you remember things for the rest of your life. It's just so awesome and great to be a part of always.
All right, Chag Sameach, guys. We'll see you all very soon.
that's my ass.
Yeah.